Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a king who inherited a nation that was completely shattered. And then, piece by piece, he forged it back together. This is the incredible story of Parakrama Bahu the Great of Sri Lanka, a ruler whose vision was so powerful, his legacy literally still flows through the land today. Now, to really appreciate just what this man accomplished, we have to start with the absolute chaos he was born into. See, the 12th century had started out with so much promise under a great king, Vijayabahu I. But when he died, it didn't just create a power vacuum, it threw the entire island into a genuine age of darkness. A nasty power struggle just exploded between the king's son and his nephews. All the unity that had been so hard to win was completely shattered. The island just splintered into 3, sometimes even 4, warring territories, all ruled by relatives fighting each other for a piece of a prize that was crumbling before their very eyes. And look, this wasn't just a political problem, it was a total systems failure. The economy was in shambles because the nation's lifeblood, these incredible vast irrigation networks, they just fell apart. Farmland was swallowed up by the jungle, and even the spiritual heart of the nation, the Buddhist faith, was broken, speared up by rival sects and really weakened by corruption. It was a truly, truly desperate time. But you know, it's often in these darkest of times that a hero emerges. And right in the middle of all this despair, in the southern province, a prince was born. A prince who, according to all the stories and the prophecies, was absolutely destined for greatness. His name actually means the one with mighty arms. And even as a teenager, Prince Parakramabahu saw the brokenness of his homeland with this piercing clarity. He saw the suffering of his people, the decay of the faith, and he felt this profound calling to fix it, to restore order. This right here, this wasn't just some political ambition. This was a sacred vow. It became the guiding principle, his North Star, for his entire life. Right from the get-go, his mission was crystal clear, and it had 2 parts: restore the nation and restore the faith. A noble goal for sure, but let's be realistic. The situation was daunting. He was just a regional prince, surrounded by powerful, warring family members. How on earth could he possibly succeed where everyone else had failed? Well, his strategy was nothing short of genius. You see, Parakramabahu understood a fundamental truth about power. Before you can unite a kingdom with the sword, you have to build its strength from the ground up. And in a society built on farming, that strength comes from one thing above all else: water. So, instead of immediately marching off to war, he first turned his own southern province into an economic juggernaut. He knew that an army marches on its stomach, and that a well-fed population and a full treasury, well, that's the ultimate foundation for a strong military. He was going to build his power base on prosperity. And this quote, wow, this captures his entire vision perfectly. This is his most famous decree, and it's such a powerful statement of intent. Every single drop of rain was a resource, a gift to be harnessed for the good of the people. It was a revolutionary way of thinking. And he didn't just talk the talk. He put his words into action on a monumental scale. I mean, look at this breakdown. He repaired or built dozens of major reservoirs, including his absolute masterpiece, a man-made lake so huge it was called Parakrama Samudra, which means the Sea of Parakrama. He crisscrossed the land with canals, he drained swamps, and he built countless dams. The engineering was just incredible. The impact was just staggering. His province absolutely flourished. It became so productive it could not only feed all of its own people, but also export huge amounts of rice, earning the whole region the title Granary of the East. So, with this solid foundation of prosperity secure, the time had finally come to pick up the sword. He launched a long, difficult series of campaigns to finally unify the entire island under his rule. But conquering the land, that was only half the battle. You could argue that his greatest, most difficult challenge was still ahead: healing the fractured soul of the nation, its Buddhist faith, the Sangha. I want you to just think about this for a second. For a millennium, 1,000 years, the spiritual leadership of the island was divided. The 3 main sects had become their own separate institutions. They had their own land, their own rules, and often really deep-seated rivalries. Corruption was everywhere, and many monks were living lives that were, let's just say, a far cry from their vows. The transformation he pulled off was just incredible. I mean, look at this before and after. He took this divided, weakened, and corrupt institution and forged it into a single, unified body. This wasn't just some administrative reshuffling, it was a complete spiritual and doctrinal reformation that would define Sri Lankan Buddhism for centuries to come. So, how did he do it? Well, not with force, but with incredible patience and wisdom. He knew that a nation with a divided soul could never be truly whole. He needed a single, purified faith to be the spiritual glue for his kingdom. So he called a great council, led by a highly respected forest monk. They painstakingly examined the conduct of monks from all the sects, starting with his own sect to show he wasn't playing favorites. Now, for the hopelessly corrupt, and get this, he didn't just punish them. He had them leave the monkhood and then gave them jobs in his government. A really practical and merciful solution. In fact, the ancient chronicles say this whole task of unifying the faith was even harder for him than winning all his wars combined. That tells you everything you need to know. So after a 33-year reign of relentless building, warfare, and reform, what did Parakramabahu leave behind? Well, his legacy isn't just something you read about in history books. It's literally etched into the landscape of Sri Lanka. You can really break his legacy down into 3 key areas. Economically, that giant reservoir, the Parakrama Samudra, it's not a ruin. It's still a functioning reservoir, irrigating thousands of acres of farmland today. Religiously, the unified Sangha he created became the absolute bedrock of the country's faith. And politically, he forged a single national identity that has lasted for centuries. He didn't just rule, he built the very foundations of a nation. The story of Parakramabahu really leaves us with a powerful question, doesn't it? What is the true measure of a leader's greatness? Is it just about the battles they win, or is it found in the health of the land, the spirit of the people, and a legacy that outlives the ruler by centuries? For Parakramabahu, the answer seems pretty clear. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.